Welcome back to Chronicles of Lorei'an, where we kill our friends. Anyway, last...
Wow, I see how it is, Rusty.
Oh boy.
Oh
All
god.
gravitas in the previous session gone.
Gone.
God.
Reduced
Dust
to
in the
atoms.
wind.
Alright, let me attempt and try to bring you all back into the mind space here of last session with a little bit of a recap. Because last time, while venturing through the interior jungles of the Luthan, our party of intrepid heroes, the Eidolons, after having come across the voice of all things, which is a giant toad man with 3 eyes, who speaks in cryptic messages about voices of the past and about hearing things that have already happened and invoking weird, unheard names of people in your party that you seemingly do not know. You had been interrupted by a series of rumbles and earthquakes as a guard had ran up to the shrine and informed that Titan Walker, one of the 4 lordly presences within Greenhaven, had been driven out of its territory and is heading straight for the City of Ancients, Petilos. You, after having decided to go after what was driving this great behemoth from its territory, and if not stopping it, would completely level the city of Petilos through, like, just stomping through it. You guys had emerged on the backs of pteranodons to the thick forest where Titan Walker, a massive mountain-sized dinosaur with its head in the clouds, literally, had been running away from none other than the robot death machine containing the body of our Tigris Braveheart father, the Arcus Ultimus. Probably you decided to go enter battle with this thing, and after a few of you were quite heavily injured, you had gathered up all of the heat resources available, and with a teamed series of attacks, Tigris Braveheart ascended 300 feet into the air, coming crashing down with his actualization Savirasha Karash, but in doing so, the double-edged sword that is the power to separate connections between mortality and spirits ended up crashing down a little too hard in the form of 3,000 something damage, which I miscalculated, by the way. It's only the fall damage that is doubled by every 30 feet, not the actual damage of the attack that is also doubled. So that would have been closer to something like 600 damage. But regardless, it still managed to kill him upon impact, taking down the Arcus Ultimus along with it. But with that, the injured, battered Adestra Tariel, in a series of knowing the responsibilities of his own actions and having casted foresight, seeing a glimpse of the future where you would all stand against the fate of the world, but he himself not being amongst the party at the world's end, decided to invoke the rest of his remaining lifeblood into the Blade of Respite Evandria, and in doing so instilled within Tigris 9 hit points of his remaining life back into our friend, bringing him back from the dead, but in doing so giving up his own life. But as the spirits of Adestra sailed off into the great distant beyond, having reunited with his father, words of farewell were had and tears were shed upon the sudden departure of a confidant who had left and come back, and this time having left again for seemingly forever. You lie upon the wreckage and broken remains of the Arcus Ultimus, the body still at peace of your friend having passed on, still being held by you. You wipe the tears from your eyes, pick yourselves back up from where you were before, and having a newfound resolve, decide to carry on. And that's where we pick up, players. A soft wind blows by, and this time on the still body of Adestra Tariel, gently blowing by the soft fur of your companion as they, for this moment now, finally lay at rest. Picking back up there from that emotional beat, what would you guys like to do?
Well, just going to tidy up a distressed body. You know, Lynn sort of laid Evandria like in Adestra's arms already. Just sort of wrap the body up and prepare to bury it. Essentially.
You see that the large insectoid mech creature, this I would say closest in relative size would be an Eva from Evangelion. Kind of similar in design, also these tall, lanky features, made entirely out of the husk of a giant insect. That doesn't seem to contain any metallic parts at all. You see that it lands and goes to one knee, about 20-30 feet away from the wreckage remains of the Arcus Ultimus, as the cockpit, for lack of a better words, the husk carapace chest of this creature just slowly and in a very creepily organic fashion begins to lift and open up. And you see a creature within the inside steps out, looking down upon the rest of the party. This is what you see. When the image loads. You see an elven, high elven male, long black hair with what looks to be almost like a masquerade mask, like what you have on right now, with these flowing blue robes adorned with jewelry. As this stoic figure steps out of the chest of this creature, it seems to almost power down without the lack of any power, as a voice rings out in Elvish saying, Quenyar, Tomgeskalaikai, Devaskonada, Devaste.
For someone
Translate,
who
please.
can hear, who can talk in Elvish. How?
There are
I
multiple
do.
people who understand Elvish.
Only
In
some.
Yeah,
Elvish, this person says, Sadly, we did not get time amidst all of that battle to get ourselves acquainted, and I barely got the chance to help out, but with the state of our enemy fallen, I ask you once again, are you ally or enemy?
Well, I would like to be an ally, I would say.
We
In Elvish,
do not-
Darko replies.
We do not know who are you affiliated with, so we cannot determine whether you're friend or foe. But you prefer friend over
He
foe.
sort of narrows his eyes, looks around, and sees the state of Len and Matilda crouching beside a passed on Adestra. And he just goes, well, certainly our enemies wouldn't mourn over the loss of a comrade so endearingly, so I'd like to offer my apologies, as with all great battles come a great loss.
Well,
As
on our
for-
part,
Go ahead.
we wish that there weren't any loss to begin with.
Isn't that always the case?
But we all knew the risk of going on this journey.
Those of you who don't
Complicated.
speak Elvish, you just hear just complete nonsense.
I was like, but anyway, do you perhaps speak common so that my friends here can communicate with you?
This is
Matilda can translate Talk to him.
It sort of like clears his throat as he jumps off from the 50-foot tall insect mech creature, while even on one knee still stands like a 50-foot tall creature, jumps down, and you're expected to be like a person jump off a building, but instead he falls down sort of like in a hovering pace as he like weaves some sort of spell with his right hand. You immediately recognize it to be the feather fall spell because you have casted it 2 or 3 times during the course of this battle as he gently drifts down, landing gracefully, the blue robes and scarf and long black hair just sort of like swaying in the wind. You see this figure approach with all the grace of a high elf. Fair skin, blue eyes. As he walks, he tips the one side of what looks to be half of a wizard hat, but not quite. Like walks up and says, sorry, and he brushes off dust from his cloak and says, as for my identity, sorry, I do not get quite often to use this language. He speaks in common now. Savior Luminaris of the House Luminaris of Dorcanus.
Does anyone know? Look around. Look around each of his face.
History
Yeah,
check.
sure. Go ahead and
She
make a history
remembers.
check. Yeah.
Look at
First
people's
roll,
face.
19.
19. You know that Dorcanus, the capital city of Greenhaven, while scholars have not gotten a chance to inspect closely within, there have been a number of scries made by academic humans, especially over in Emerexium, because the architecture of Emerexium itself was loosely based on the city and urban style and architecture of Dorcanus. Dorcanus is an entirely magical city, meaning there is completely no technology, no electricity, nothing that is sort of like presumed to be the work of the modern day and age. Dorcanus is a lost citadel, the capital city of the High Elves, that lies secretive within the Luthan forest, and it contains within it, you assume, since he introduced himself as being from a certain house and his name invokes a certain importance along with the name of his house, you assume that it's probably has some sort of an aristocratic house-based system, not too unlike Ryfield of the past.
Okay, she just like nods and then introduces herself. Matilda Scrobe. And
Pleasure.
these are the Eidolons. We are a group of adventurers.
You guys still have your disguises on?
No. Oh, not
Okay.
not
No.
Lynn. Not Lynn.
Didn't the toad didn't the turtle take the disguises
Took it
off?
Yeah.
You're right, yes.
And he said take those off. You don't need it here. So we just
Yeah.
took it off.
It sort of like narrows his eyes at you, and you see that with every gaze, this person is very like calculating, like a bunch of insight checks are being rolled in his mind right now. And he just goes, strange group of wanderers to have come here in this forest.
We are on a mission to save one of our companions' hometown. You see, right? The forest on the inside seems to be creeping out and is slowly consuming our companion's village, and we're just here to find the cause and maybe stop it somehow.
Well, while the cause of the outside world does not concern us, at least having a purpose is better than no purpose at all. Myself and Illumina, and he looks at the mech that he had just come out of, just goes, we are ourselves on a mission, but the contents of which we can't fully quite disclose to you unless we earn your trust. Regardless, might I presume to ask where you all are headed off to next?
Well, we wish to
Are we back to the
somehow-
village? Talk to the people again? Since we averted the crisis of their village
Yes.
being flattened out?
It's
Make
sort
sure
of
that everyone's all right.
Yeah.
looks over. But actually, at this point, all of you make a perception check, please.
All right.
Perception.
All
Uh,
of us?
Also, while this is going on,
Wow,
Hale,
so low.
I really, really want to know, and I hope this is not forcing a scene out of you. If there's literally nothing, you can just tell me that there is nothing. But how is Hale acting in the presence of a literally like mightier than thou sort of presence of a high elf that had just stepped off this gargantuan, like mechanoid creature? What's going through his mind?
Anywhere else, it might not have been that notable. Anywhere else where we'd seen travelers come from faraway places, but this is, it does give him pause. Because this guy shows up out of nowhere and decides to help us, and he didn't need any reason to.
Cool.
He's incredibly powerful, clearly. And Hale is just thinking, how do I square this circle? How does this make sense?
You see that with that series of perception checks, I guess Hale would be the highest. The rest of you are still either distracted by the happenings of current, or you are deeply hurt by the wounds of your battle. You look around, preoccupied, very preoccupied. You see, you still feel the rumbling earthquakes of the footfalls of Titan Walker, but you see that the storm clouds that always signify to where it would be has slightly swerved off. Hale, you are the only one that sees this. Off to the northeast, so the town lies to the southwest. So at this point, it's sort of begun to circle back, knowing that the threat has been dealt with. But you still hear across the wind these painful groans of a several millennia old creature that has just been hurt badly in battle. But it seems that it is not headed towards the direction of Petilos anymore. You see that the figure just sort of goes, it seems that you have indeed quelled the rampage of Titan Walker. This is no easy feat. The four lordly presences deal in their own worlds, not quite easily disturbed by outside forces.
So you seem to deal with the problem that caused it to be startled in the first place, so...
Speaking of which, would you all happen to know what this rogue spirit warrior, any of its affiliations, or what house in Dorcanis it belongs to, as it is my right and duty to apprehend these wayward warriors and bring them to justice within the capital?
I do not know what you mean by spirit warrior, but we do know the source of the giant mechanoid thing that we just took down. That would be from Thessalia, right? Tess? Alen?
Yes.
Sort of tilts his head to
Evil-
the side. Thessalia.
the
Is
evil-
that a word in common that I do not know of?
It's Imperium? Empire? What's the current state?
Empire, I guess.
I would say
I think it's
classifies as an Empyrean right now.
Yeah, it's an Imperium outside that has been controlled by egomaniac who wishes to mechanize it,
world, essentially.
rule the world and mechanize, use these creations to take over the entire continent. it would
There
seem.
are a bunch of words that I do not understand in that sentence, but if I were to sum it up, it would be that an outside threat has breached our walls, is it not?
Technically, yes, from
Pretty much,
across
yeah.
the continent.
Then the elven lords
for
and the
the-
great houses of the citadel must be informed of this immediately.
As for
I'm
the
sorry
spirit
to leave you as
warriors,
soon as I meet you, but I I have duties to attend to.
One more thing. Somehow we believe they are also connected to the reason why the forest is escaping to the outside.
The blight, yes.
So do keep
Or
that
for
in
the-
mind.
For the
We have
spirit inside it.
We have been dealing with an internal threat within our walls. Maybe there's more to be had here. Regardless, my mission brings me to the east. If you are to run into me again later, perhaps we should make some
is-
sort of temporary alliance.
One thing, good sir.
Xavier.
Would you, Savior, would you be so kind to help us perhaps when we try to enter the capital, because we do not have an identifications here?
That may be a possibility. You see, he sort of looks into his pouch a little bit and he pulls out this emblem. And you see that this emblem is sort of like, for lack of a better words, it is a dodecahedron. So like a 20-sided, quite 20-sided, like a 12-sided polygon with like sort of like a bright sort of insignia of a sun emblazoned in the middle of it. And he throws it to you.
You catch it off the air.
Do we recognize it?
I would say that you do not. He says that is the insignia of House Luminaris. We are a trusted house within the Citadel. So if you do wish to enter the city, you may beckon the name of a house and say that you are temporary allies with myself. I am not the leader of my house, but my name should gain enough trust for you to enter the Citadel.
Why?
Savior Lubilanus, understood.
Last question. Why do you call this thing a spirit warrior?
Spirit warrior. That is what they are. In our language, I believe, translated to common. That would be the closest approximation.
Looks at my party.
And for the
And
record,
this-
Illumina is not a thing. My partner.
Oh,
At this point, Lin just sort of finishes wrapping Adestra's body. Well, I suppose we have more time to chat once we reach the city or the citadel. For now, it's best we inform Petilos that the
You.
threat has been averted.
He looks at you, Len. You see that his eyes glow blue for a moment. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom saving throw. Where is it?
types out wisdom saving throw.
You're
Listen,
gonna
mate.
have to prevent yourself from being charmed
What?
by our.
Too bad.
His eyes glow blue, and for a moment you feel an influence of some sort, like someone knocking at a door that is deep inside your consciousness, and without your general will, it sort of opens, and his eyes fade back to the same sort of blue color. He just goes, "You've seen the comet that strikes north. In which direction was it heading to last?"
The
The
red,
red
comet.
comet. Which direction, DM? Do you remember?
Yeah, which
Len
direction?
will just sort
yeah.
of pulls out, sort of scrambles around his notes a little bit. I have it noted down. Give me a second.
You
Shaking
claim
my
that
head.
in this moment he has reached into your thoughts.
And just like this thought, it's just like right now, it's just a jumbled mess. Because there's his friend's dead, a traveling companion who he's known for, albeit only like not even a year, but someone who's fought alongside him for a while. And you see, mixed in with that is the feeling of this threat that is Thessalia is becoming more and more dangerous than before. And in there is like my notes, which page found it. The Crimson Comet, it was heading northeast last I saw it, while we were traveling downstream.
Then my search brings me northeast. If I do encounter you again, I would appreciate your help in my search. But for now, I must be off. A comet does not wait, and neither will I.
I pray that
Very
our
well.
paths cross again.
I certainly
Oh,
do.
also-
One question before you go. What is
This
this
is
comet
the
you
fourth
speak of?
one question, but I will answer it regardless.
What is this comet you speak of? What is this comet? Simply, I know it's a comet, but what is it?
Perhaps I shall enlighten you more on the details of my mission if our paths do cross again, but a certain presence has been running rampant within the barrier as of late. A great old being has been attempting to break the area from the inside. While the barrier does serve to wall us out from any and all outside threats from the world, there is also an additional purpose: to keep things in that are not supposed to go out. The four lordly presences, for example. If the Titan Walker were to perhaps one day leave the compounds of the forest and run rampant in the outside world, that would upset the very nature of things, would it not? And so that is our
Interesting.
job as Illumina and I. We are the upholders of the orders of the Citadel. And the Citadel has ordered for us to hunt this thing down.
Very well.
If per se we brought our vehicle towards the capital, would it be shot down?
I would not assume so. But do still bear the insignia. We do not shoot first without asking questions. We are more civilized than that, after all.
Oh shit.
Understood. So it isn't okay to get the Wanderer, right, Captain? It should speed things up.
I suppose so.
But we still don't want to startle the inhabitant.
Oh, we could fly
Certainly.
slowly.
The inhabitants of Delcanis would not be startled by such a thing as a vehicle.
We'll
Flying
see
ship.
about that.
Okay. Well,
You know
we
what?
shouldn't be keeping you for too long.
Yeah.
I guess we should go back to the village and see how things
Uh-huh.
are.
Eidolons, was it? I
Yes.
hope
Yes.
we do cross paths again.
Same here. Oh, and regarding Desalia, you may know it better as Desar.
I have heard of that. Regardless, I am not well studied on the history of the outside. I will have to confer to the court for
No,
this.
We'll have plenty of time later on.
Do be careful. The forest contains many dangers that those untraversed will find most likely difficult. Regardless, I do hope you find yourselves to the city of Dorcanis.
Yes, and good luck on your quest for the Red Comet.
You as well. He
Just
sort of hovers gently up, maybe casting some sort of fly spell on himself, getting back into the chest cavity of this mechanoid creature. As it does, closes back up, the eyes begin to glow blue once more, and you hear in your head telepathically, "May the winds and the woods be in your favor." As not like engines, but the fluttering of dragonfly wings just begins to lift and hover as like the winds blow like violently against the trees and your faces as the creature lifts up and just flies off to the east.
Well, seeing that thing, they probably won't be amazed at a at a flying ship. Yeah.
Hmm.
That leaves, I suppose, one significant thing that is to be asked is the body of Adestra, and you have yet to scour through the remains of the Ultimus for the body of Tigris's
Whatever's
father.
inside.
Well,
Yeah.
well, Len was taking care of the body during the entire conversation, right?
Yeah, so we'll say Adestra's body has been wrapped up nicely.
Wrapped up
You
neatly.
are intending to put Evandria in sort of the space with him. Is it correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That's what Lynn did.
No, we
And you notice
steal
in
it.
this
Use it for us.
instance as well, the Evandria does not revert back into bread at this point, as indeed 7 good deeds vows have been accomplished.
1 HP per vow. Is that it? I see how it is.
All
It
right.
was in 9. All right, time
Give
to
me-
scavenge the fucking thing.
One quick
Hmm.
moment. Tigris,
Yes.
tell me what's going on. What are you doing?
Chicken is just like slowly making his way towards the wreck.
You go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Perception check. Oh, good.
I suppose you are a little more than distracted with the recent goings on of the events, and the body of the Arcus Ultimus has been crushed completely and just sort of broken, but the main torso piece is still sort of intact, although like dented and damaged and worn by Savirasha Karash. You see that there, even with an 8, there is a small sort of astral glow that projects from the central core. It's heavily buried underneath wreckage and chunks of these like metallic pieces and parts.
It's very quite deep, right?
Not that deep. You'd have to lift a few things, sort of brush a few things off, but you see the dull glow of astral sort of starlight energy that emanates from within the wreckage.
Suppose I was bad when you.
Okay, go ahead and make an athletics check for me.
While he's making that, DM, what happened to the soul within the? Because we know there's a living soul inside these fucking mechs, right?
Correct.
I'm
They
pretty sure the
just
soul left a long time ago. It's the first time we fight him.
You would have to give it a closer study to know. Just the fact that maybe you would like try and reach out, but you cannot quite connect to the legend, to the lore within. And so you would assume that you'd have to get a close-up vision on it, or like be able to see the dead body in order to collect the remnant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I was just not collecting. Yeah, but I'll go inspect it more.
Okay.
I'll
What
collect
about-
it then maybe.
Adestra's soul.
Oh, it's gone. It's gone. I already tried talking to him.
Yeah,
okay.
it's gone. It's departed.
I tried, but I had tried to have a permanent soul member.
Tigris, one by one you start lifting up and off these pillars and steel beams and metallic parts, and the more that you inspect closer upon this thing, you come to realize this is not a mere replica, this is just a recreation exactly of the sort of the materials that you would find in old Siphanian ruins of the Siphanian kingdom that fell long ago. It was a kingdom of technology, and you know from previous tribal studies that the kingdom of Siphana did in fact contain the bodies of animalistic mechanoid creatures. I keep using the word mechanoid, but it's not close enough to a mecha, and it's not a robot, so I can only describe it as such. These iron defenders of the old Siphanian kingdom were made up of these like sandstone bronze like material that the Arcus Ultima seems to have been constructed entirely out of. So someone that either made this thing would have had access to old Sifanian technology or is able to recreate it somehow.
It's like kind of mumbling himself. They even drag up the old.
Would you say it's similar to that guy's partner, or not at all? This is not. This is outside. This is not
guy?
me asking. What's his face?
Savior?
Yeah, Savior.
No, entirely different. Like the spirit warrior was constructed very organically. It seems like you took like a humanoid giant insect that has died or shed its skin, and you are piloting that. While this thing is entirely made of technological parts, very magic punk in design. You lift up the large pillar without much effort at all, though you are still bleeding and bruised profusely. You see that the astral glow within seems to almost overflow out from the wreckage and ruins as you uncover the central core, which there's a very massively cracked pane of glass, that within the inside is sort of like dusty and dull. You go ahead with your arm and wipe off the excess dust on the surface, and you stare within. And for the first time in, how long is it, 18 years? You stare directly at the not perfectly preserved, but he looked as similar as the day that he left you. Though you see that his body is sort of like translucent with veins of energy and crackling magic and almost crystallized mana running through, and his eyes, there are no eyes, there's just two dull glows of energy emitting from his eyes and mouth, almost like his features were wiped of detail but contained within spirit. You stare at the body of Athos Quansier Braveheart, your father.
Just like almost like a lost for word, just staring at it for a little bit.
I am like behind him, like observing from like right behind him, but not disturbing him. Can I inspect
Insight?
and see if
Insight check.
any remnant or soul or anything?
I'll say insight for Tigris, and if you would like to make an additional, we'll say Arcana or religion.
For me?
You can do that as well, yeah. The remnant is still there in all of its complete entirety, almost like it's being contained, like it's not being let go. The nature of a very spirit is that as the reasoning why remnant or lore can only be harvested right at a creature's death, the moment of its death, is because if you allow it for some time, the spirit will move on to other planes of existence or re-enter the cycle of life. Depends on the religion of the creature that has passed. But this one is still being contained within. And the fact that even at its like dormant, still stead state, and it's dead, it's still sort of here. It's still like contained, physically present, and that's the same thing you get as well, Tigris.
I thought, Tigris, you can see into the spirit realm, right? Do you see what I'm seeing?
Yes.
Do you want me to? I can help.
No, it's fine. He deserves a rest.
No, I mean as in I don't think he can escape. I can try to guide him.
You hear Tigris say he deserves a rest, and that immediately signifies that Tigris knew this person in life.
Yeah. Figured. Does he look like Tigris?
You can't quite tell with all the features sort of like
Okay.
made into spirit, but it is a large Leonin, even larger than Tigris, even the same sort of mane, same like sort of braided hair, same musculature structure.
different color of fur.
Yeah.
I can, if you want, I can help him talk to you for a few moments before help him pass on and return to the cycle.
Fine. I already say my part.
Okay, I will
Sure.
try to,
Talking to the dead right now will just make it harder.
Shion,
use.
the moment you attempt to reach out, suddenly there is a singeing pain on your right hand.
Oh no.
Shadow seems to twist and turn around the crest of entropy. But you know the difference. You know the nature of the deal you made and the being that you made with it. This is not Odessa. Suddenly pings begin to go off. In your minds, your spirit sense, your crest, the mark that you put upon him. Not tens and thousands of miles away, but 30 feet away. Suddenly there is a cacophony of metallic noises that begin to ring all throughout the forest, as all of a sudden shadows seem to darken and the energy and life that is contained within the area is almost immediately sapped. There is a metallic sort of interference noise that comes across all of your minds.
I will shout. Guys, it's Odessa. He's here.
No, it's Marcos.
Marcos, my bad. Sorry. Marcos, he's here.
What?
You all immediately begin to look around as you now see that hovering 30 feet in the air above the scene of the battle, the mechanical lich Marcos descends down from the skies in all of his metallic parts, and you see that on his mask, cracked, a emblazoned golden mandala carved in onto the mask as the voice sort of metallically rings out in an almost mechanical fashion. I did not expect him to go down so easily. But regardless, as this has already happened, I will be taking that back as he immediately...
I will cast Soul Cage.
Cool, he counterspells
On.
you at 8th level.
Fuck.
What?
You go out to cast Soul Cage, and you watch us in this moment weaving a sort of twisted, irregular mandala out of purple light and shapes and symbols. The spell
Just
that
like-
leaves your hand immediately fizzles and vanishes. Yeah.
Can someone counterspell the counterspell?
I don't have that, but I will do the same thing I did when he tried to gather back the
Amazing.
behemoth.
Here's what happens. He reaches a hand out and you see that the metallic parts, almost like a scrap scavenger, immediately begins to become drawn up in sort of like a metallic fluid fashion, like liquid mercury, as it ascends up into the sky and starts to go into his hand. Hang on, let me just make sure that I've consumed the spell slot for this.
Yeah, I press it so that I can do spell slot. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Okay, never mind. There we go. Okay. The metallic parts begin to become fluid, floating up into the sky. Darko, you run. Immediately, you plant your hands onto the thing. Now commences a tug of war between the configuration of material parts. I need you to go ahead and make an ability check with your spell casting ability, as he is going to contest you with intelligence.
That's that code.
Okay. Help me, Dad. Help me.
He doesn't
no!
have he doesn't have a reaction. 24%.
That,
Wait,
that's
do I
that code
still
on
have,
this
I don't
already.
have
Yeah.
the buff anymore, right? I don't
Can
have the buff
I-
to turn it to FNT.
Yeah, what do you want to do, Tigris? Okay.
was trying to grab it, right? So, make it kind of a tug of war.
Okay. So at this point as well, as the metallic parts of the Arcus Ultimus begins to flow into him, you watch as his muscles, the weird like metallic scrap metal pieces underneath the cloth, kind of flex like he's like an ooze or slime taking in something new within itself, almost completely gone within it now. And you watch as the soul, you link a chain out, connecting back towards the body of your father. The body is sort of twitches violently and spasms as the glass completely shatters, breaks free, and the body of your father lifts up and off the Arcus as it is held suspended in the air. Spirit chains shoot out, connects with the body and with the remnant harvest, the same exact power as yours, Shion, as it is currently trying to draw the spirit back into the body. He sees this. Yeah, go ahead.
So as I see Darko is trying to interfere with Marcos again, with the glove off, he's just gonna put his right hand towards Marcos and just sort of does a quick grasp and squeeze as this might be a little late, but I turned that 24 into a 14.
Ah, shit.
Oh,
So all of a sudden,
let's go.
as you clasp your hand, almost like the material within that he had just absorbed grows rampant within him, like something is resisting, and as it does, it spews back out of his hand like metallic vomit, just like it just goes. And Darko, you begin to transfigure the body back to the state that it once was. You see that his eye, darting, looks at you, Darko, and he is going to go, "You are too much of a pain to be left alive. This is the last time you get in my way!" And he, power word, kills you.
I will counter
Oh,
that.
fuck.
I will go on a hold to maybe like just to interfere. Can I?
Fifth level
yeah,
counter
yeah.
spell.
5th level counter spell.
I know it's a
Power
9th
word
level spell, but like,
Kill is a 9th level.
Yes,
so
I
go
know.
ahead and roll. Let's see here. So that will be
yes.
DC equals to 10 plus the spell level. So at 19, he goes out of my way, and like the word rings out to the great beyond. Shion, you weave a counter spell together and sends it to you with a 21. However, he is going to attempt to counter spell
Legend.
your counter spell,
He already used his reaction, Rati.
and it's considered a new round. No.
Fuck you.
I only damn.
Yeah.
Counter spells, he's gonna do
No
it at
idea.
7th level. So the counter spell goes off, a reach of hands dispels the counter spell away. As the words "out of my way" rings in your mind, Darko, suddenly everything goes dark. Your heart stops beating, you fall over dead.
What?
I
you.
would kill, man.
Tigris, what ability would you say? We'll say insight check on this as he attempts to tug of war you with the spirit of your father with his own intelligence check. Shit, that's a natural 20. The chains pulls taut as you do, looking up towards your father. Suddenly, the link within your spirit and form suddenly shatters, collapses. The body of your father is jaunted once more out of your grasp so soon that from the reunion that you just had. The body sort of disperses into purple insignias and symbols as he absorbs it back into himself.
Wait, he succeeded?
Yes.
Oh, he's a nat 20.
And you see that he says, "I'm not going to be greedy this time. One spirit warrior for me is enough." And then he teleports away.
We still have that diamond. We do, right? Fucking
Okay.
You do have like what you
yeah.
wanted.
Can
Yeah, I would-
Matilda do something after
Mr. DM.
Yes.
he
So
needed away?
okay, here's what happens. Yeah, he immediately begins to cast a spell. You watch a space around him distorts. Matilda, you go and release a cone of cold as the frost air fractals out and into the immediate space and beyond. And all of a sudden, where the cold wind had impacted his body, space distorts and he's gone. He's no longer there.
Get my shield!
It just turns.
And all of the
turns to
commotion, you look around. Darko all of a sudden has fallen over unconscious onto the floor, his eyes still wide open.
I will cast Revivify.
Okay. Go ahead and
That's
roll.
all my spell slots.
Before you do that, Len, Len and Matilda, what are you doing?
I'll let Matilda go
first.
first.
Okay.
Fuck.
Okay. Who first? Me?
You first.
After that, Matilda, for the first time in many years, that she had an anger took from, like, the anger just, like, appeared in her face. She was, like, seeing someone who's, like, important to her as an ally and also a student just, like, you know, died in front of her eyes. After Marcos just teleported or anything else away, after her cone of cold, she was like shouted like, "You dare! And the next time if I see you, I swear you won't get out of this." And she just like,
Your
I'm not
words,
sure.
yeah, echo out to the distant air. Light slowly returns to the forest where it had been choked out before. Shion, you immediately like spring into action, run up. You stare up at your right hand. The mark of cancerous corruption. It's faded. It's slowly starting to dissipate away, and you feel all of a sudden, your mark is still there because you haven't utilized it yet. But he has pulled that one off on you. And there has to be a way. He can't just get in here without passing through the barrier. And you saw the state that he was in when he arrived here. It was almost like he was tattered, like in pieces. So he probably instant teleported to where you were using the mark, and that was why he immediately ran after that, because he was hurt when he teleported in through the barrier. You remember what happened with that piece of paper that you sent through the barrier through teleportation.
I just still know his location, right? Is he like super far away now?
He is way far away.
Okay.
Inside, like miles away to the east now.
Wait. Doesn't that mean he's still inside?
Oh no, like beyond the
okay.
So Len, what are you doing?
Just gonna reach out to Darko with his right hand, and just as a precaution, cast Gentle Repose, so that his body is
amazing.
Remains the way it is without
amazing,
any sort of...
amazing, great call. So that basically eliminates the 1 minute 1 minute marker on Revivify, so you now have basically any amount of time to cast Revivify or like a Raise Dead spell, should you come across that. Darko's body lies still, his eyes still wide open, his mouth agape, as suddenly his heart was forced to stop beating. Tigris as well. Diamond. You're standing there, still arms stretched out. You still feel the spirit chain connected to the body of your father, and immediately cut short. The chains slowly start to disperse away into tethers as you hold your hand out, just looking at it. He was right there, and he was taken from you immediately thereafter again. Shion, I need you to go ahead and roll a D100. You cast the Revivify spell.
This
How many diamonds do you have?
is our last. We had 3. We used 2 on Adestra.
No, we
You-
used one. One on.
No, we used 2. We used 2. I used 1 and. Oh yeah, I used 1 on. Yeah, we used 2 on Tigris. That's right.
Yes.
You press your hands down on Darko's body. In that instance, you feel the diamond slowly crumble and flake away, pushing life back into his chest. There is silence. Silence for 6 seconds that seems to almost last an eternity. Darko. Within that state of limbo, one moment you were alive, trying to regain control of the situation. And all of a sudden, you're standing you're floating in the astral sea again. That space where you reconnected Len back into the paths. You stand there watching as the stars and comets drift across the intergalactic beyond. You and your spiritual body, and it hits you. You just died. You just died in but a moment of a power struggle against something that was completely and blatantly unfair. Like a cheat, almost. But the fact that you are floating here confirms something. It confirms that you do indeed have a soul. What's going through your mind as you are drifting through the seas and the stars?
Well, first would be the first thing after noticing he have a soul will be the fact that he's glad. He's glad that he's not what he's afraid that he was, an empty shell with no actual soul, alive without an actual reason to exist to begin with, just as an experiment made by a group of people. But secondly, he all the more know the fragility of life since he himself just died right after, the passing of his comrade. Like the ending of a life is as easy as that. Not like how a life came to be.
You hear swirling through within this astral sea giggles, like the laughter of children, like walking into a playground on a sunny afternoon. Hey, you can't go yet. You still have that promise, remember? You said you'd come play with us.
Oh, certainly I did. And I wish I could, especially meeting your queen. Well, mother.
You know, there is a strange thing about these promises that we make. It's that once someone promises us something, even if you were to go out of your way to break that promise, I'm sorry, but we and Mother, we won't allow that to happen. And so, it is not quite the time yet. But since you've gone and broken that promise somewhat, though maybe now out of your own will, suppose that maybe you got another chance. What would you like to do with your life?
Well, I guess I want to be strong enough to protect the people around me I wish
That's a
to be able
boring
to.
answer.
Well,
You were
yes,
just
but that's not
killed.
all.
In but a moment, unfairly. All you want to do is be strong?
Well, there's so much you can ask for in life, isn't it?
Yes.
But I didn't mean it literally, but okay. Well, I also want to meet your mother too.
I see.
Well, how about if I actually get a second chance? We should meet right away so that this doesn't happen again. Well, if that ever happens at all.
Time is a relative concept, isn't it? Well, I suppose that if we were to meet again, what could you give us in return?
Well, I have but myself. I was brought into this world without anything, literally. I do believe I was created somewhere. And then, through fate and chance, I was brought together with a kind mother who is not quite honest with herself, a sister who works way too hard for herself, and meet with my friend, that helps me out, try to keep me in line, teach me many things.
Well, the place that you came from, could you tell us more about it?
So, sure. Which one? The one where I call home now, or where I was born?
No, the one where you were born.
Well, it is a dark and damp place, full of people in white clothing. They like to poke you with needles, like you did with my hand, and then suck your blood, and then, give you weird stuff to eat to make you feel funny, and then lock you inside a room. Luckily,
That's-
though, for me,
Hmm.
one of them is, well, I don't know if it was pity or was some sort of guilt. They decide to take better care of me, slightly. But that only lasts for so long, when, for like a week or two, and then they disappeared.
Well, it seems like you have some lingering regrets that you would choose not to disclose. That seems like an awfully dreadful place that could use a bit of fun. How about this? When we are to meet you, how about you bring something of ours back to that place? And maybe it won't be such a dreadful and awful place anymore, and we could fill it with fun and magic and wonder.
That would be a wonderful thing. But is that enough for you?
That will be enough. Now, out of game, I need you to choose one stat: intelligence, wisdom, or charisma.
Well, I guess I will go with
That's
charisma,
cool.
I
He's a
guess.
warlock.
Charisma.
It is a dump stat.
Okay.
Hey, he's above average in all stats except strength, alright? Leave the
That's why
boy
he should.
alone.
That's why he can give away int. It's a dump stat.
Damn.
Then it says, then that's another promise. In addition to coming to see us, you will have to bring us back to that place where you started.
Well, I would like a guide, to be fair, because you just disappeared without telling me how to get to your place.
I will just say that perhaps the easiest way to find your way to us is to not have a way at all.
Just wonder, I see.
Indeed. Sometimes you may find us. Sometimes you may find an eldritch being hidden in the woods with powers beyond intergalactic comprehension that may cut your fate with a knife or a scissor. But regardless, it's a coin toss, and if you're lucky, then you might meet us.
I see. It's a fun ride. You're giving me a choice, yeah?
Well, I've kept you here too long. I suppose it's time we sent you back to your friends. And don't forget, a promise is a promise.
promise is a promise. Wanna do a pinky promise? I
We
heard
shall
it was
do that.
quite popular.
And you watch as like the form of like a small fairy pixie being like reaches a pinky finger out.
Well, I hope my finger is not too big.
Promise made. Promise is a promise. And a person who
Eh.
breaks a promise shall swallow 1,000 needles.
Well, a promise made is a promise kept. That's what I was
Indeed.
taught.
Well, see you. Bye-bye. Fairy dust sparkles. And you feel yourself voices calling out to you. Golden geometric shapes begin to take hold. You look up at the stars and the skies once more. And you close your eyes. You wake back up with 1 HP. And you gain the Fey Touched feat, which I have imported into your sheet, along with the spell Hex. And a +1 to your charisma score.
I have 2 Misty Step of innate casting.
Shit, well you can
What
cast
the
it
fuck?
twice per day now, I guess. You see
Good luck
Darko's
catching
eyes
Darko, I
regain color, and his chest rises gently again. Just note down that you've been brought back to life once now. So the DC for your next Revivify will be higher.
Understood.
We've had too many deaths in a single day.
I know.
Well, that was not by choice, was it? What can I do?
Can Matuda just come to hug Darko just like immediately when just like when he's just back like it's like I'm glad
Well,
that
if
you're
he-
back.
Tigris, are you okay?
It's fine. What's more important now is Darko is doing okay.
Well, I'm fine. It was weird. I have a dream
I will
about...
dump five.
You'll take a
Is
big
that
As
right?
long
shit.
as you're back. As
Yes,
long
I
as
will
you're
take a
back
picture.
to safety.
Actually, Shion, you Ticket said he's fine, but you do know that he is not fine.
Oh yeah, I mean, yes. I'll dump 5 healing light. There you go.
Thanks.
So, Eidolons, you regather finally, peacefully this time. All that amount of healing to you, sir. And you sort of just take a moment to breathe. And you hear the sounds of wildlife now come back to the forest. Just the squawking of dinosaurs, the chittering of insects, bird songs begin to return to the Luthan. Take this moment to gather yourselves. We say you all gather now in one group. Len is carrying the body of Adestra. What do you guys like to do?
So, I know you said I'm carrying the body of Adestra, but
Yeah.
the massive hunk of metal and potentially stuff that we can use, Len is not going to just let that be.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we are looting
Yeah,
the fucking.
we're
As
looting.
much as we can find stuff in the remains of the Ultimus.
Okay, at least the body is still there, right?
The body is still there. Everyone who wants to try and take anything useful out of it, you can make an investigation check. Tigris, do you have other plans as well for it?
Right now, I just wrap the body up.
Okay.
With unsteady step, Darko will try to
Oh.
study the metal that is used in constructing.
Go ahead and make a Arcana check, Darko.
With advantage. I should.
0 spell slots.
Good thing it's an advantage because it's gonna be a nat one.
Studying the metal, you've never seen it up close like this before. Like some parts of it were used in the construction of the Venaticus, but this in its entirety is made of Siphanian compound. It is a blend of sort of like sandstone like bronze. It's like bronze, but much sturdier than like titanium, for example. And you detect some hints of mithril in it as well as like Thessalian metallic compounds. Len, go ahead and roll d12, please. d12 plus 4, we'll say.
D12 plus 4.
Nice. That's 9. So you gain 9 units of Siphanian, ancient Siphanian compound. You can add
Ancient
that to your-
Siphanian compound. Okay.
Can we extract the hammer so that we can convert it into a weapon, like a sniper
As you
rifle,
say
maybe?
that, Matilda, your investigation, so you're not like actually like going digging through the pieces. You're sensing things almost magically, and within the pile, you're sensing some sort of like space magic of some sort. And as you walk towards it, you pick up a cube. And it is this like purple blue shifting cube that seems almost like held within form. You don't touch it. You almost like when your hand goes and reaches towards it, it almost has a magnetic pull. As you lift it up, there is this cube of gravity that is just like holding a small contained black hole, levitating above your palm.
Yep.
You can go ahead and add gravitas to your inventory.
You're right.
I'm not gonna tell you what it does yet. You're gonna probably have to identify or do something.
see.
Can I-
But
Shall I identify it with
Seriously, if I
Arcana?
make it into my spiritual weapon, you'll have to tell me what it is.
I will. No, but like the identify as in casting the spell. Identify. You
Yeah,
reckon
yeah.
that you probably cannot do much
It's a
like
magical
to
weapon.
studying this magically. You will have to delve into it magically in order to know.
My God.
I do have
So I can't
identify,
use
but I am
Arcana
ran
check?
out of spell slot.
You could. It's not gonna give you like what it does though. So you
Isn't
can-
identify a ritual spell part?
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
You don't need a spell slot for
mean-
ritual spells.
I mean, she
Oh,
can.
yeah.
She can
Yeah.
like just try to know that okay, it in basic, but after that, for the next day, maybe she would ask someone who has identified to be like help with that.
Cool. You wanna take a minute right now and cast identify?
I mean, cast it while walking is fine, no?
Okay.
I
So
don't
where
think you can
guys
do
headed?
that ritually.
Are you gonna head east towards Dorcanus, or are you gonna go back to Petilos for now?
Well, we
They
don't have
said the
time to
ship is
head back,
fine.
no?
Oh, how far is Dorcanus anyway?
Let me pull up the map.
Well, the plan would be that we would teleport back to the ship,
And then get
Yeah.
use the ship to go to the capital.
Yeah, we can come back here when everything's settled out because we don't have time.
We also
So,
need to
yeah.
bury Adestra.
Yes, that is
Yes.
correct.
Oh, no,
That's
we
the
are-
point.
We are doing a sea burial.
So you see that
That's an elegant way of saying we're going to chuck his corpse into the ocean.
Yes, we
So we're gonna
are.
check his copy to the ocean.
okay, so
Right.
you are currently, I don't know why I cannot ping, but you will see that you are here in Greenhaven, sort of where my cursor is pointing there. You are like at the rivers in between Petilos and Jerusalem volcano. So we're looking at maybe 4 or 5 days of travel in order to get to Dorcanus, maybe 2 days by airship.
We
Right.
go
I will-
back to airship. That would be
I will
better.
I will find an empty spot and start ritually casting a magic circle.
Okay,
Teleportation circle.
okay.
I guess while Shion is doing that, Darko identify the hammer for Shion.
Cool. So we'll say that Matilda and Darko, you make sort of like a small study group here in the center of the forest. It's been a while since you've done this sort of like teacher and student sit together magically and try and work out a magic item together. Matilda, you realize that this is a condensed condensed space magic that is just shifted and made into a device, and you think that it is similarly also influenced through space and gravity magic. You hear almost Oriel reach a hand out to study it as well, and she goes, "This is very fun. This is interesting. We could do things unthought of with this, my dear."
So this is the first time you see this thing also?
Perhaps, though maybe you'd like to confer to your comrades first before we do what we did to that crystal back in Winterward. We
She is
do have
thinking.
that power within us.
She's like thinking, like, I'll keep that in mind, Oriel. But this time, I think I will talk with Darko about the things that we just discovered, because this one is quite what is it called? Unfamiliar. That would be the word. But yeah, I will keep that in mind. And she's just like
Darko,
thinking.
the first thought that crosses through your mind is thank the gods that this remained in one piece and that it did not get crushed underneath the rubble. Because the moment that this thing is destroyed, it will deadass cause a spatial rift, not too unlike a black hole, that will consume everything within a 50-foot radius.
Excuse me?
Apart
So
from
you're
that-
saying that
Mhm.
you keep that whole bomb.
Yes. A 50-foot radius black hole bomb. It could also be influenced using like spatial magic. If you contain like the magic of space or the understanding of the dunamancy, the quaternary aspect of space within it, you can make it take the form of quite literally anything you like. But it's not sentient, so it can only be held as like a weapon or a shield or something like.
It's like, can I abuse it with fucking hack weapon? But no.
You could make it your packed weapon, but you would still need spatial magic to alter or shift its form.
Yeah, that's why I said I can't abuse it.
You technically cannot. But yeah, so it also cannot be made to contain ammunition. So it's quite literally like a all-in-one melee weapon that can be shifted out of like this magic, almost like if I were to describe it as like a spatial Play-Doh. That is also a bomb.
Thus, having the ability to cast a singular dunamancy tree magic makes me using.
What is the dunamancy spell?
I have a weak magnifying gravity.
Possibly.
Doesn't like Tigris have like? No, that's not it.
But that he absorbed from the gravitas.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
a part of the cube, you see that like the left corner is like missing. It's already been absorbed into the Braveheart shield. You could try. Do you want to try?
I would
Reinforce
want to
the shield.
morph it in a way that it became a more compact version. And
You
actually, can I mount it onto Laytalk here?
Actually,
As a-
if you're gonna do that anyway, right? Might as well
Yeah.
try the tickets tie and absorb the rest.
You could try that. There are a great deal of things that you could do with this. Also, in saying that you want to make it a more compact form, this is its most compact form.
I see. So basically this thing is kind of dangerous. Anybody wants to take hold of it?
Hmm.
Do I know that
Also,
I
it's prone
absorbed
to
pounding before? I
explosions
should,
that could
right?
suck everything within 50 feet, so do be careful.
That sounds dangerous.
I'll hold on to that for now.
I see.
It just sort of hovers gently above your palm, and you feel like the part of your shield and the cube that you are currently holding sort of like intermingles for a moment, like two parts of a great power reunited.
That doesn't seem good.
Cool. All right. So at this point, Shion, the teleportation circle as you complete the last chalk line, as you try to find like a stone or something that you can write on that is not wet soil, flares up with light.
Guys, it's ready.
Is what's it called again? The village name, like a path that you go past by if you take the wanderer towards the capital.
Petty loss to Darkanis. There are no paths. There are no roads in Greenhaven.
No, as in like if we drive road on the wanderer, do we pass by Petty Loss when we go to Dorcanis or no?
You could. You have the choice to.
We're
So
on a
that
flying
means-
ship, Pat. We
No,
are on a flying
If
ship.
it's like a linear line or is it a detour?
So it would be a small detour. So the ship right now is parked somewhere in the mountains of the Luthan. They're after Quilosa. You can go straight on to Dorcanis, or you could go to Petilos. But again, if you go straight on to Dorcanis, we go back again to the discussion we had about traveling through the forest, about like how if you took the ship there, you would get there immediately, but you would also miss a bunch of things that are on the canopy, like on the forest floor. You could fly directly above the canopy and you'll go straight there, but you are missing the chance of investigating deep down on the floor layers of the Luthan, which according to Doctor's letter, the facility known as
We plan to
Kaiser.
do that after we dealt with the expanding forest. So
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So that's an option for you. The teleportation circle comes to life and it will stay. Could you just go ahead and cast teleportation circle?
It
for
does.
me then?
I'm pretty sure it doesn't stay. That's why we wait for it to. We wait for us to be ready, then finish it.
Gotcha.
I guess we'll do this another time.
Yeah, it says a one round.
Okay, so 6 seconds once you complete that line, you all have to go in.
Yeah, exactly. So we are not completing it until we're ready.
Gotcha. Alright, so you guys are gonna teleport back to the Wanderer now?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Okay. A moment of bright light and like a jaunt of energy, like you are going down a roller coaster, that like sort of intestines shifting up and you feel that butterflies feeling in your gut, and all of a sudden your feet land on solid plank.
I'll go cook something real quick and I'm gonna go right back to bed.
Sylvie, we're back.
I see Morn, who is currently in the process of like scrubbing the deck, completely spills a bucket of water onto the carpet. It just it goes, oh, you're back.
Hi, Morn.
Hi. Oh, I didn't expect for you to come back this early. Oh, I'm sorry, I made a mess. Hi, Mr. Hale. Hi, Mr. Len. Hi, Miss Matilda. Hi, Mr. Tigris. Hi, Miss Shion. Hi, Mr. Destra.
Her face turns like,
It's a long story.
Oh.
We need some rest.
Morn, where is Sanya?
Can you get everybody?
Okay, I will. And it like sort of runs down the stairs like, Miss Senya, Miss Sylvie, our friends are back. And all of a sudden, this entourage of your companions comes rushing up. Immediately, Zenia runs up and hugs you, Matilda. It says, Tildy, you're back.
I am, yeah. You know, back in
Did something happen?
quite a long story, but yeah, I think Len would tell us. He like look at Len.
You see, Sylvie comes up and is like, in the midst of like cracking a joke. She says like, "Well, I would say that I've seen you in various states of disarray, but this is a new Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry."
Just holding this sort of makeshift body bag in his hand.
I think we have two body. So
Tigris holding the
Tigris,
other one.
yeah.
Oh. Well, I
We-
think you've deserved some rest. I see that Darko's already gone into the kitchen. I can hear the pots and pans.
He also died, but we managed to at least save him.
Just like him to
Actually-
immediately come back to life and start making dinner.
Sealant sort of
Well,
laugh.
Reliable as always.
You see the sun is
We
like
have,
beginning to set now as well.
We
have
need
much
to
to
make our
talk
way
about?
to the capital right away because we don't have much time left.
Alright.
maybe
Maybe you
after
guys
dinner.
set a course. Start setting a course.
Of
I'll
course, yes.
yeah.
All right. Well, I'll get on that right away. Dorcanus, it is.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Let's go ahead and do that. You see, she starts like putting down a bunch of maps and navigational charts and says, "I'll take care of this. You guys, take some time, okay? Let's head out tomorrow morning. I think you need some rest and some food."
After like 45 or minutes to an hour, Darko's finished with his cooking and rings the diner bell so that everybody can hear and come to take their dinner.
You see, Xenia just takes like a handkerchief and wipes the dirt and like tear stains off your face. Matilda says, "Come on, Tildy, let's go."
Mm. And she
Well,
follows.
I'm sadly to present you a decent meal today. I am too battered up to make a well cooked and a gourmet meal.
Which,
We'll
like,
just have
after
some-
like half a week in the forest, this is a full ass meal. This is a dinner, you guys.
We have
We need it.
simple, easy mashed potatoes for you people who need a lot
Nice.
of starch.
Mashed
We have
mashed
a
potato and
simple-
shepherd's pie. Classic
Yes.
Jay's house.
Yes.
I think we're in the wrong place.
Aside from the shepherd's pie, I guess we do have a, simple soup, consomme soup as a thing to, help lubricate your throat. Because I'm pretty sure we all are thirsty. And I made a simple orange juice to help you guys energize. I
Oh.
had mine before this already, so I'll go to bed. And he just walks off, like unsteadily
well.
towards his room.
Rest well,
You did
Darko.
good. Rest well, Darko.
And he would just like wave with his back.
Ah,
then
fuck,
he
that's
just,
the exact image I had in mind before you even described it. So
and
on
he
brand.
just like, tilt to the side and hit the wall sometimes along the way.
And
Well,
just
yeah.
for just for context, Len is leaving Adestra's wrapped up body sort of near the deck, and before going to have dinner. So, Tigris,
Hmm. What is it?
you know that guy? The guy you wrapped up and brought back.
He did not bring back. The body has been.
He bought the
actually,
body back.
The
Body
body
back.
is back. The soul has been taken.
Oh, it's gone.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, the soul is gone, dude. So you fuckers want to spell bitches.
Know him. I would be understanding. I know him too well.
Family?
You could say that.
Sorry for
Yes.
your loss.
We'll get him back.
What do you mean get him back? He's dead.
The body is here, but the soul is not.
Marcus. He took the soul. He came in all tattered just to snatch your soul.
I see.
Marcos.
So that's why he was here. It's not just for the
Seems very important.
metal, but for the soul.
And I pull down my sleeve and show him. Looks like it's just a one-time thing. He can't do that again. The mark's gone.
Well, that's one positive thing today.
Next
I
time
still
I
have
see
my
him.
map. Oh, we are definitely punching him in the face.
There won't be next time after that. After we see him.
On that we agree. And Glenn just sort of downs the orange juice.
The orange juice, sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Speaking of Marcos, Matilda's like her face was a bit tense. Like she's thinking, but also she's like mumbling a bit. Like, why have to take the souls? And that man, I won't.
Well,
I
there's
won't.
Which, by the way, denying him from taking the Arcus Ultimus, huge move. Massive move. That will
Yeah.
change the mechanics of his fight once you get to him.
What do you mean? Oh, he was originally gonna take the entire thing.
The entire
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
He was originally
yes.
going to come and
Oh.
take both the machine and the soul.
But he got all the
Yay.
souls.
He only got
Well, I stopped him from taking the behemoth and the Arcus, so that's like power down Marcus a bit.
Well, the
I
thing
hope.
you need to know, that machine, I've seen it before. It's a old Sifanian design.
It's a replica. Or it's
And these Sifanian runes are near your home, I assume.
So much for Great Imperium to talk about. The only thing they did so far is grave robbing.
I don't know to what extent it's going to be. But it's clear that this is starting to get out of our hands.
Len,
Yes?
go ahead and make a history check for me with advantage.
Okay. History.
Oh, shit.
Nice!
Suddenly a thought hits you like a truck. Like a sack of rocks being thrown directly at your gut, like a gut punch, as you almost choke on the orange juice for a moment. You know one person very well that has tinkered with Sifanian technology in the past. You know who I'm talking about?
oh the
Yes.
don't you die on me now, Len. I don't have any more spells.
You think of anything
Yes.
that might help us?
I know someone who's tinkered with ancient Sifanian tech before.
That could be of our help.
And at this point, Len is sort of like a little bit in the negative. Or he was the one that helped Marcos build this. I've spoke about him before. The second prince of Thessalia. The hidden academic of royalty. The scholars and students of Willow's Creek would often write letters to him inquiring about formulas and magic and technological projects they have, and oh, people would say he's the one that pioneered a few breakthroughs of technological revolutions in Thessalia in recent times.
Sound like you know this man very well.
Well, I am a noble. No one's ever seen him, obviously. He's all holed up in the castle. But this ship that we're on right now is made from one of his blueprints.
You see Sylvie sort of sigh heavily. She like stands in the corner of the room, looks up from making the charting the maps, and just goes, "So much for Mr. I hate paperwork, huh?"
I do hate paperwork. Problem is, with the Imperial as it is now, I don't really know what his location or move or anything about him really is right now, since he's holed up in the castle all the time.
Did he leave with us that night?
I would assume so. He wasn't with us, but he should have escaped the castle. But I'm not sure.
Well, and she sort of bites down on her lips, like choosing not to say more.
Point is, on the day of the insurrection, everything was in chaos, and, well, no one really knows what happened to the guy. But if anything, he should at least have managed to escape the castle.
Do you think he would be Subasa would know? I can try giving her a message.
We do have access to a network of spy, just like Vance and Darko.
Well, I could,
Darko's
I
trail.
could, I could technically appear in her dream and give her a message.
Sylvie
It
just
would
goes,
be
"You can
worth
what now?"
Yeah, I can appear in people's dream if I'll show you one of these days.
Never
Well,
appear in my dream.
I haven't contacted Tsubasa in them at all, actually.
8 months now, I think.
It's I don't know. You can try, Shion.
Oh, yeah, but she cannot reply, but I can definitely give a message if you want.
She can't reply.
Well, in a dream, It's like I send a messenger to her in a dream, like give her a vision, but I can't really be in her dream.
Yeah. Well, just tell her to
What's it?
stay safe and keep the people she has with her safe, I suppose. And that we'll be heading back soon.
Yes. Tonight I shall do that.
All right. Anything else to be discussed at the table before you break
Ah.
off and go have a much needed rest?
You were gonna say something, Tigris.
One thing. Of course, also have ability, present ability to detect soul to a certain extent.
Well, he's a lich. I'm assuming mages of a certain abilities. It's a means to detect those things.
We can
Right,
assume,
Matilda?
We can assume.
Wait, she's gone. Fuck.
Well,
Wait, is Matilda with us?
I
She is,
suppose.
she is. She didn't leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay.
suppose we can assume that he's ascended beyond a lich at this point.
you
Considering-
wonder why
Wow.
they take souls, like, for the weapon? Or
Oh,
for
they need-
anything?
They need souls for the robots the mechs that they make.
Which
That's
is an
the
interesting
things of his-
question, isn't it? Like, you see, Sylvie goes, but
Why?
but why would you build an army if there is no war? Berelia is not a threat anymore, and Ryfield is, well, maybe, but why? Why do all this in a period of peace?
I also don't know. I mean, before that, there was like a war back then. I guess it was like 4 or 5 years ago. Also, that
No,
time
much longer. I would imagine. You're talking about the Crown Wars, right?
she nuts. Lots of casualties.
Well, the remnants of that war are long forgotten now, and Berelia is far too subdued to be a major threat, and if a Ryfield wasn't invoked into starting a revolution, then they would have just left each other alone. What is gonna prove a threat to them, Serasiel?
Oh, the simplest answer to this question is just assuming that this is true, is that not necessarily they want to go to war, but whoever is on top of this just wants power.
Thessalia already
And
has
maybe-
power. It's a
Maybe.
monopoly on the world.
Well, the country the country does, not the person.
She
It's
stares
just a
like,
working theory.
uh-huh.
Untold
But-
power, attaining divinity. There's many stories about terrible people doing terrible things for power.
But they are also related to something beyond the rift, so to speak.
Yeah. Powers from
Besides-
beyond, gaining more power. It's always just people wants power. You just
All of
There
this,
also might be something else that we don't know about behind the scene.
all of this just ties
Oh,
back
there's
to him,
definitely-
doesn't it? Len, that man, when he showed up that night, why? I simply cannot comprehend that a man of that status would want power to such a degree.
maybe there's someone controlling him. Powers from beyond possessing him, giving him commands. There's many signs to show that there's multiple beings at play here, multiple powers at play here. There's the entropic power that is consuming, trying to consume the world tree. There's this blight power, unknown thing that we don't know what it is, but it's apparently everywhere. And Macross is using it.
I
And it's
have,
just normal people struggling for war.
I have a theory, but it's an unlikely one. When Marcos showed up just now, he mentioned he wants to take back his creation. And this might just be wishful thinking, but I'm hoping that Marcos isn't exactly on Desalia's side.
I doubt that. Just by the fact that that guy was obsessed with machines, and Marcos, what, the cult of Mechanicus?
There's
It
that
doesn't
thing-
seem like a coincidence.
there's that thing that Lydia brought up as well when she attacked us coming into the forest. Something about the Archons.
Yes.
Well, if knowing our history, these crests that we possess is something that has existed, but has existed for a really long time, and no one knows how to use it or how to control it or how to gain access to it. Maybe it was just them trying to replicate or somehow take over. Because these crests, these things control the fabric of reality in multiple ways. There's time, space, creation, reality.
There are way too many chess pieces on this board. And Sylvie just sighs. I'll go back to charting the
This-
map.
Either way, we really can't get a concrete answer unless we, find the chance to talk to the man behind the Imperium himself.
That fucker.
In any case, we can't really worry about that too much right now. We need to, start moving.
Definitely.
How much time left on the clock?
So
That
to
would be
Darkanas
correct.
tomorrow then.
To Darkanas tomorrow, and hopefully, with luck, we will just stop the forest from completely taking over Hale's town. And then we just sort of shoot a glance and nod towards Hale. Now then, if there's nothing else, then I suppose it's best we adjourn this meeting and head to our respective rests.
I'll come talk to you about the message you want to send to Tsubasa so we have concrete
Sure.
message.
I'll be on the deck before going to bed,
Alright.
of course. Just sort of,
Alright.
then sort of gets off from the table and dunks his plate into this sink in the kitchen, and just sort of walk out. You all make sure to get some rest and try to wind down, yeah?
Alright.
You too.
Just gives a nod, everybody a nod, and just walks off to the deck, in the direction of the deck.
There is a lot to digest today, specifically today. So many things have happened. Deaths, people being brought back to life twice. The appearance of a greater threat. Some contained ones that you got looped into. They say sometimes that there is no rest for the wicked, but I think in this instance, no matter how wicked or how heroic, you all deserve some rest. The night comes with some concerns, some weary thoughts, some dark thoughts, other hopeful thoughts. Thoughts of dreams maybe to happen, or another visit from a great power beyond would be perhaps one too much for tonight. Instead, the night is peaceful. You find yourselves off to bed. thinking about what to do tomorrow, and the closing of this chapter drawing nearer. A new moon rises over Lorei'an tonight, for Stora's new moon. And as the night passes by, Len and Shion, what thing are we talking about today?
Dream.
This spell, right? We are sending a dream to Tsubasa. I have a short rest, right?
Yes. At this point, it would be a short rest, but I'll just go ahead and say probably nothing significant is going to happen tonight. You can all go ahead and mark yourselves down for a long rest.
Yeah.
I would
Yes.
like to have a scene a little bit
Yes, please.
towards the night. But yes, with Shion, you see that Len is just sort of sitting against the railings of the ship, and just sort of, has the black razor sort of slanted down, one hand over it, just sort of in the wind. You're here.
Yeah. Just taking down details, I guess.
Yeah, just a little awkward since I haven't talked to her for almost a year now, and
Well, now it's a good time as any.
I suppose.
Oh, you're not gonna be talking to her. I'll be sending a message.
Yeah, it's just
It's like writing a letter. You do it all the time, Mr. Noble.
I mean, Sylvie said so earlier that I hate paperwork. That counts letters. Do you know how much letters I have to write a day?
Sounds like a you problem.
One
You
of
have
the
magic.
things-
You can just send magic messages magically.
Not for me, not in my case. He just sort of adjusts his sitting posture to be a little more relaxed. So, about that dream, how accurate can you make the message? Is it just a messenger straight up giving a letter,
Well-
reading it out loud?
I could just have you appear, but that wouldn't be any fun. So I might probably like a representative of you appear and then give her a message. She'll remember it perfectly. So it won't she won't have vague memories of it. She'll remember it perfect memory of what she saw in the dream, basically. Either that, or I can make her have a nightmare, and if she suffers through it, then she'll have no rest for the night. I can also do that.
Let's just avoid that. And please, for the love of God, don't ever cast that on any of us.
Well, that is, if it was not a detrimental thing, I would have done it before. Oh, don't worry.
Oh yeah. As for the message, just keep it brief, I suppose. Tell her that we're all doing fine. Tell her that we lost a companion, but we're recovering, and that we'll be fine. Tell her to keep laying low as much as she can, and make sure to tell the other two with her as well that we'll be heading home soon.
Do you think we should tell her about College of our affiliation with College of Ashes, so that if somehow she can send any message or letters through them, somehow
I would like
she
to,
can,
but
they have contact with Darko.
I would like to, but well, I suppose we can tell her about the College of Ashes and tell her this phrase. Make sure it's clear that she hears this when you bring up the College of Ashes. The gears of time cast a timeless shadow.
Wait. The gears of time cast a timeless shadow.
Yes. Make sure she knows that this is a phrase from me regarding the College of Ashes.
Wait, what do you mean? Make sure that the College of Ash
No.
sends a message with that
No.
phrase.
No. Tell her to contact the College of Ashes and simply
Oh,
tell her this phrase.
Make sure that this dream is from you, right? That makes
Yes.
sense.
Make sure this dream is from me. Tell her to contact the College of Ashes and utter this phrase towards the end. She'll know what it means.
Towards them. Oh, towards her, okay.
Towards her.
I can do that. That's fine. Last thing. What do you think your messenger should appear as? It can be anything.
I'll leave that one to you then.
No! You know, she knows you. She doesn't know me. I could appear as myself, but that wouldn't be any fun. Could be like something, you know, she'll know that it'll be you, but then also, you know, the message.
Well, really, it can be anything as long as you put this scarf on it. And, you know, Len will just sort of tug at the scarf on his neck. She'll recognize the scarf.
Fine, you're no fun. I'll think of something else myself.
When Tigris.
It's just Tigris. She's like, who the fuck is this? Why is there a lion man in my dreams?
Very intimidating.
Alright. Xion, you go ahead
Yes.
and cast Dream. Describe to me what this dream looks like. Messenger in this dream.
Tsubasa is his maid, right? Is his attendant, right?
Attendant, yeah.
So yeah, basically he comes into his room, right? Yeah, retainer.
Yeah, retainer.
Yeah, so I'll make it so that when she sleeps, like she dreams of attending to Len, right? She opens the door and like, you know, he's sleeping, right, in his bed, and she'll like open the curtains, you know, do her daily thing, and she'll try to wake Len up. But when she, you know, turns to Len, it'll be a sloth with his scarf. Yeah.
Oh, please.
Just turns to him and turns to Tsubasa sleepy and says, you know, tell her like, yo,
So far, up to
don't
this
worry.
point, it's just a normal dream for her.
Yeah. That's the thing, right? It's like,
Yeah.
and then I was like, no, okay, it'll be Len hugging a sloth plush. And he'll turn around, and the plush will start speaking.
Shit, that's some like fucking The Conjuring shit right there. Okay, go ahead.
It's a cute plush, you know, and
Okay.
it'll tell her about, you know, how we are doing fine. We are like
Give me
On
the
our way to-
exact wording of this sloth.
oh my
Quote by quote.
god, dude.
Quote by quote.
Oh, hello there. This is a message from this is a message from Xion. We're just giving you a heads up and keeping an update. We are currently far up. Wait, this is north, right? North in Greenhaven. Yeah, in Greenhaven, and we're just trying to help one of our friends through of the troubles, but we are fine. We have gained many friends. We have lost some, but right now we are okay. We will probably, after we finish this audio, we'll probably head back soon. We just thought of you, so we'll try to send a message. If there's any issues or you want to communicate with us or try to send a message, we have a contact with the College of Ashes. Other than that, I hope you're doing well and stay low, and we'll be in touch. We'll be back soon. Oh yeah. Len said, "We have time past a timeless shadow." I don't know what that means. Sounds pretty edgy, but
I thought
Have
you'd
a
like
great
completely
morning.
forgot to say the phrase, and I was like, "That's so fucking funny." Okay, you.
have a great morning.
I suppose this would be the first time in like 50, 60 sessions of this campaign that we are to hear Tsubasa's voice. A human woman on the shorter side, small thin frame, her hair tied up in a ponytail, and she's wearing what almost seems to be Eastern sort of like ninja attires, like shinobi attires, long scarf, face mask, all these trinkets hanging from her belt. You see that almost out of your control, like the will of the dreamer overwrites the image for about an instant. The room and the window sort of like seem to deconstruct open, like the walls just sort of detach and float off. And all of a sudden, you two are standing on a windy wall, like a massive tall wall with clear blue skies above. And it's just Len holding the plush and Tsubasa standing about 10 feet away as she like pulls down her face mask and like a tear almost drips down the side of her cheek. I don't know who put you up for this, but after 8 months, I suppose this is very on brand for you. Gosh, I hope this dream lasts a lot longer than this. And all of a sudden, it like this, the placement of people changes, and she's now sitting down, and Len is no longer holding the plush, but he's resting his head gently on her lap, sleeping. She just puts a hand on Len's hair and just says, "Regardless of where you are, I do hope that you find your way back soon." And she says a name, but that name is ushered away by the wind, and it's just an image of, from Len's perspective, staring up at her face. And the dream ends. And the night goes by. Coming up now to the next morning, the 29th of Brumier. And that's where we're gonna take a break.
Yeah.
Look,
Let's
Warlock
do-
and RP spells.
Yeah. Let's do 10 minutes, guys, maybe 8 minutes, come back, and at most I'll run for half an hour longer, and then we're done for the night. Joe, if you're really tired, you want to go to bed, please feel free to do so.
Not that.
Okay, now Len is
Almost sleeping
unhuman.
again.
I am not, because I've already slept
Yeah.
in the afternoon. For fuck's sake.
Alright, we'll be back
Yeah, that's
in
my
like
strategy.
8 minutes.
You're such a bitch for that, Rati.
Fucker. And we're here.
7 close.
Cool. Oh. There we go. Yes, no, okay, maybe. I think the bubbles just disappeared. Shit, it's gone. Let me fix that. 1 sec. Anyways, go on. We have now reached a new morning. And you all awake within the sort of peaceful morning light. Somewhat temperate weather today as winds blow in. You all rise to a nice and still morning. Let me just leave and come back real quick. There we go. Hopefully it works now.
Hi. Funnily enough, Darko wake up earlier today. And then he cooked something up in the kitchen. And leave it on simmer.
Right.
Well, not simmer, but hold it on heat. It's a morning porridge with minced pork dumplings inside. Also, there's a vegetable pot version next to it
Mm-hmm.
for our elf friend, for preference sake. And he's out training with Galatine in the morning.
Cool.
You walk out, Dako. As you train the Galadin, you notice that Len is just sleeping on the deck, with his back on the leaning against the railing.
Since Darko saw Len sleeping out on the deck, he'll see if he can wake Lens up with a light nudge. If he doesn't wake up, he'll just go train on his own.
Okay.
You nudge Len, and you see he grumbles a little bit, but he does get up, which is a miracle at this point in time.
From a light nudge, I would
From
imagine.
a light nudge, you wake him
From
up.
a light nudge,
We
indeed.
need to throw him on the ship one time.
We technically did.
And he just sort of grumbles up a little bit. Oh, it's good morning already.
Oh yes, I thought I would train here and the noise might wake you up, so I decided to nudge you lightly to see how deep in a sleep you were. Surprisingly, you woke up. I have some porridge and made in the kitchen.
Right, I'll go freshen up, have some food, and then I'll come join you.
Very well.
Just sort of some shambling awake and sling sort of Black Razor onto his back and walk into the cafeteria, do his thing.
Matilda, in your room early in the morning, the sun rises over your window. A few birds land and perch themselves on your windowsill.
Mm-hmm.
A gentle voice comes over your mind as slowly fading in and out like a spirit coasting through the room, looking, adjusting the mirror, smiling at you. You see Oral. She says, well, this is a bit of a premature moment, but today is a bit of a special day, isn't it, my dear?
Matilda, it's quite unusual for her, but this time it might be a bit odd. She would be kind of a bit of the still sleepy and stuff. She's like, today? What's the day again? I think I lost some track of time.
Today's our day, my dear. I suppose not much cause to be celebrated on this year, and I suppose it will be the first year where we wake up on this special day without snow.
She's looking at the calendar. Okay, I guess I know what it is. She's like,
Suppose
I
it's a
forgot.
warm one for once.
I suppose.
You see immediately, like you hear the door to your room immediately, like try and burst open, but it's locked. So you hear Xenia bang her head on the door and just.
What? I
I
gotta
suppose
open
you
the door
best get
first.
to that.
She just get up and wear get some clothes, and she's just like open the doors.
The door
Morning.
opens. Xenia like runs in, gives you a hug, and you see that there's just a big swollen thing on her head that she's banged her head on the door, expecting to burst in to surprise you.
Ow.
And she says, "Ow, ow, um, I don't quite know." Where's the accent? I don't quite know how to do this, but I've done it every year, so I will not let this year be another one where I don't get to do it. Happy birthday!
Oh yeah, I almost forgot that it's my birthday today.
She unveils a
You
cake,
think?
and Darko, when you went into the kitchen this morning, it was just a mess. Like someone had been trying to do like sugars and cream and flour
Darko would be
and
rich.
use the oven, and they obviously didn't do a very good job. But she has this cake in front of you, and it's just a sort of like a cake in a. She tried to make a snowflake, but it just sort of looked like it just sort of looks like a bad blue sun. It's just usually we'd get help from the other dorm mates to make this, but I tried to make it alone this year. I hope it's something.
She's like giggles like, you did a good job, man.
Yeah, I tried to use entirely vegan ingredients. Like, I tried to use a sugar substitute, and I was going to use honey, but honey comes from bees, so I was using like a syrup of some sort from a coconut plant, and I also put in dark chocolate and coffee, and I also put in some tea leaves because I know you like tea, and it probably won't taste very good, but happy birthday.
She's like patting Xenia's head like, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And she's like looking at the cake and just like, oh, by the way, after we get some breakfast, maybe we can have some cake.
Yeah, totally. I'm sure the others do not know about this. You all had a note on your door this morning. On it was just stuck to Len's forehead. It just says, "Today's Matilda's birthday, you guys," and smiley face. Come, let us.
Darko haven't saw that. Otherwise, he would have actually make a proper cake.
I think you just left your room and you just didn't check your door.
Oh, this is actually incorrect.
Yeah. So
Matilda is
everyone, where's everyone? Is everyone on deck? Is everyone having porridge in the kitchen? What's going on? In the the dining room.
So, Ticket's the navigator, so he's on deck. Not the helmsman, not the navigator.
And
Darko
Xenia.
is
Yeah.
training on the deck.
Cool. Xenia just like pulls your hand and goes, "Come, let's go."
Hmm?
And she brings you on deck with everybody. It's nice, bright, warm, sunny morning today. You see like Darko, Tigris, all doing their own thing. You see Len is actually awake for once. I think Shion's up. Where are you? Are you on deck as well?
I forgot to unmute my mic. I was eating.
Nice. Okay. So Xenia brings you up on deck with everyone and says, "Everybody, I know that it's a little bit of a perhaps unceremonious occasion, especially all the bad things that have happened. But if anything has taught me, especially with nature, it's that sometimes we shouldn't. We can also mourn death, but we should also celebrate life. And if anything, today is a special day that the gods above has graced us with a wonderful presence upon Lorei'an. Not saying that you're a goddess or anything, but it's my very special best friend roommate's birthday today.
It's all
I
in.
see.
Well, and she sees Len. Like, it's been the first time since I saw you getting up this early in the morning, Len.
I know. It's a miracle.
Indeed.
You could say it's a winter's crest miracle. Happy winter's crest, everybody. I know there's not a lot of winter going on, but happy winter's crest.
Wait,
Yeah,
isn't
it's-
Winter's Crest in like a month?
I think it's today.
No,
Uh,
it's like 20th of next month.
Oh shit, retcon that.
It's now
You people have weird holiday.
The DM, you have a power to actually magically make the day into that.
No, but I also have the power to stick to canon, so I'm gonna do that.
You can retcon everything. It's fine.
like,
Because I was checking the calendar, right, for like what would happen in like the world.
yeah, same.
She like
And-
pulls up the cake, which is very malformed, and she just sort of flicks her fingers and with prestidigitation, second try, baby. Lights candle. How old are you this year, Matilda?
I think if it's in this setting, she would be 25.
Nice.
Damn.
I know.
She's older than me. She's older than me. What the fuck?
She-
Well, 25 is a special number. I think it's when we completely forget that we used to be a teenager at some point, and it's the point that we realize that we're actually adults now. Not that you need reminding, of course, you're much more mature than I am.
You hear from the behind like being adult is like a kid pretending to be old.
I suppose
she
there's
just
some
walks out,
truth
was
to
like-
that.
Oh, Xion.
Well.
Adults don't know what they're
anyway,
doing. They never do.
Some of them.
This is are more experienced than others.
I mean, some of them. And some of them are not. I don't know. But yeah, I just realized that it's like 29th of premiere already, and I lost track of time for many times.
I think it's very important for us to keep track of the days and the times, because in this life we can very easily forget the small things in life that can happen to us, in the grand scheme of things, of course.
Um,
Well, 25 considered adult for outside. Interesting.
So yeah, Matilda will be like, so yeah, guys, and I think that's it. And then she's like, by the way, is that anything unusual or anything, or I just have a thought that I feel a bit off? And then she's like thinking what Aru just said this morning.
Well, all of us are here for you, and usually it's only the two of us and maybe two other friends back at the academy. But as with tradition, of course, every year before the candle ruins my cake, make a wish.
Oh, yeah, sure. And she's like closing her eyes, and her wish, well, I would write on the DM, but yeah, she won't tell.
Okay.
Make a wish, cast wish.
Cast.
Yeah.
And we
You close your eyes, and as you're making this wish, there's like some noises.
Mm,
Nothing. Make your wish.
okay. Okay, after she makes a wish, she blows the candle, and I'm writing on your DM.
Okay. Yeah, I'm waiting for it. You see Matilda's eyes are closed and just... Matilda, could you just deafen yourself on Discord for a moment?
Okay,
And I'll message you to say, okay, you guys, Darko's doing a thing. We want to let everybody know the plan, or do you want to?
It's fine. Just tell them. Basically, he just create party poppers for everybody, and ask I
Xenia.
forgot the elf lady name, Xenia, to create a field of flower for her.
Okay.
Has fireball into the air.
Oh, boom!
I think this clapping would be louder than the.
And a fireball.
No
The
party
popper.
popper. This is for the frills and sparkles.
Okay, she's coming back now.
Alright.
Matilda, you blow the candle as you make this wish in your mind, and you open your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that the space around you immediately gets filled with flowers, like a flower garden has somehow appeared in the middle of the Wanderer as like Xenia finishes casting her magic. Darko makes a performance of creation, just snowdrops, roses, lilies, petals, just fills the entire area. Petals just sort of flake and blow by in the wind, and everybody is holding party poppers, and you just hear pop, 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 confetti flies everywhere.
Happy birthday, teacher. I hope we get to stay together and not, leave the scene too fast.
You too. I'm just, well, I'm not good at saying something like this. But yeah, thank you everyone for being here. I mean, that means a lot. And she's like, her face is flushed a bit, like, well, that would be a year that to remember, actually. But yeah, I appreciate
So
that.
yes, many things did happen. So I hope you enjoy the time you spent with us, and from here onwards,
Mhm.
I guess I'll go back to training now that enjoy your cake. The food this morning might not taste that great, but I hope you will be able to feast on it.
Your food is like the best for me, and yeah, I appreciate that always. And yeah, have a good training today.
It's my honor.
All right. Anyone has anything else to say before as you make that wish, in your mind, you just hear a chuckle and says, "I suppose I could make that happen."
I'll go next to Len while everyone's clapping.
Well,
I'll just whisper to Len. She seems really happy to have gotten a message from you, though. She even cried.
I plan on apologizing to her the next time I see her, but thanks.
You better prepare a big gift.
I'll see what I can do.
Alright, that's it.
See, Sylvie comes up with like, she has like a pointed like a party hat on. It's like blows what are those things called, like a Twizzler
yeah.
Just goes
Party thing.
Yeah, she just goes, I know that this is early in the morning, but I have charted course for Dorcanis, and we can start heading there immediately if you like.
Oh,
That's great.
let's just take a little time to celebrate, shall we?
I suppose that won't hurt. Matilda, there is a part of you that can't help but see that it's a bit of an unfortunate circumstance that Adestra had passed just the day before, but if he hadn't, then he would be among this group celebrating with all of you, and some funny shenanigans may have transpired, but here's what you have, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. She still thinking about like Adestra, like if he's here, yeah, it would be a bit different, but yeah, she would know that he would be somewhere just also maybe just wish her all the best. Yeah. Anywhere
Okay.
he is, she's still good. But yeah, after Oru whispers to her, she's like, hey, well, what's up? She's like, in her mind, like, so what are you up to for today?
I suppose just relishing in the fact that it's warm for once. I do
Well-
have something in mind, but I suppose now wouldn't really be the appropriate time.
Yeah, maybe sometime later.
Triggers, you fully see this, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else, guys, before we move
I
on
think
with the
for me
day?
it's a no.
Okay. Cool. A morning of celebration is had with porridge and bad cake. It tastes absolutely horrendous, by the way, but it's sort of like bitter and herbal, but in a cake form, and the frosting is just like, the frosting is good, but like she could have used more sugar, and maybe some honey would be great for this, but it's just sort of tastes like herbal, like Chinese medicine cake.
It's a herbal cake.
It's good for you, Rati. It's good for you.
It's very good for you, probably, and
That's good for your taste bud.
Yeah. So the dishes are clean, plates are had. It's nice to enjoy a slow moment, especially after a day like yesterday. But eventually, duty calls, and the Wanderer lifts back up into the sky, and you all take your stations. Sylvie just goes, "All right, Captain, waiting on your orders."
Right. Today we embark to Dorkana, and hopefully we'll be able to stop the forest from ever expanding out.
I suppose maybe a toast? And she just holds up a cup of orange juice that you have in abundance for some reason.
Yes, I told it is.
A toast, and somehow, somewhere, you don't know how, he pulls out a mug of beer.
Where'd you get that from?
Darko. Cheers!
Clink, clink, clink,
Xian will,
clink, clink.
no, Xian will pull out a mug, and beer starts filling up.
You can make a meat out of this orange juice, right?
I'm
have
not
an
going to question
alchem-
it anymore.
I have an alchemic jug, yeah. So,
To our friend Matilda, and to potentially saving Hale's hometown. Cheers.
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 All
Now
right.
let's get sailing, and just turn towards the bow of the ship.
All of you here in your heads. It is a joyous occasion this morning. How about we sail the rest of the way and take our leisurely time for once? Welcome back on board, everybody.
It's
Glad to be back.
nice to be. It's good to be back. How are you feeling?
There's no reply.
What's that? How is the repair? We never talked about the repair.
She started on it, but it's only been 4 days, and she did what she could. But it's still like part of the ship is still like there's a big hole in the side, and the glass. She's taken out all
serviceable,
the
right?
broken. It's serviceable, yeah, but it's still damaged.
Okay.
We'll say it healed like 40 hit points. Who has the cheat for the?
I do.
Well,
It's time for Darko to get back to work.
Yeah.
at the beginning I did do a quick fix up of like transmuting it to like fill up the most of the bigger problematic holes, but
Yeah,
it thinned out the
and-
material quite a bit.
Yeah, and it's that brought it from like half hit points back up to a little over half, and it's been repaired an additional 40, so now it's back up in decent shape, like serviceable, but there are still pieces where you're like, it's sort of like when you walk into a building that's been just recently constructed, but there's still a bunch of tarp and some windows that haven't been put in, and some like decorations and parts that still have to be worked on. But regardless, the Wanderer slowly lifts up into the air and begins to make its way towards Docanus.
Oh, by the way, Tigris, seeing as he's the helmsman, we're gonna have to do a little detour.
Oh, where?
Well, we sort of left the Grimjaw.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and we also did
And
left
weren't we gonna check on the village after we finish the capital anyway? Should we
Considering
leave
our
it?
speed, we shouldn't be a problem if we park to get back on, and then be on our way.
Right.
I
Aye,
think
Captain.
Well, let's go pick up our car on the way there.
If we're stopping there anyway, can we stop for an hour or so? I have something I would like to do.
Oh, I suppose we can spend a few minutes or an hour reassuring the villagers.
Well, yes, that's something I would like to try. That's all.
Well, we'll get to that when we get there. It shouldn't take a day. It shouldn't take too long.
It does
Certainly.
take a day. And we sort of, since we're retracing old routes, there's no need to like roll for encounters or anything like that. It's a much easier journey as you're like cruising on top of the canopy, not having to worry about the giant mosquitoes and the monster apes of the forest floor. Just skipping through all that as sun sets on this day, Matilda's birthday, you all arrive back in the City of Ancients, Petilos. And as you come in, you are met with the greets and cheers of the villagers who, like, probably do recognize that you were the group that had gone and quelled Titan Walker. And they all look reassured. They all look happy. They welcome you back with open arms. And it wasn't too much of an effort to get the ship in and anchored into Petilos. You guys would like to do what in Petilos?
At first it was just to bring the Grimjaw dock.
I want to do
Grimjaw back,
something. Yeah.
onto
All right,
the Wanderer.
yeah, we'll say
But-
it's easy enough. You go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
Tow the Grimjaw back into the garage, sort of space area on the Wanderer.
I would like to talk to the old grung.
All right.
Akko, I know you want to do something here, but we're tight on
Make it
time, so make it quick.
Yes, give me an hour and a little bit.
Alright.
And he'll go talk to the old grung.
Okay. You go alone or with everyone else?
Well, he's going alone, but if somebody wants to go with him, it's fine.
Okay.
No, let him go alone.
Sure. So, a couple moments go by as you walk through town, met with the greets and cheers of strangers who talk in a language that you don't understand, but you sort of like pretend to nod and make your way up and along. Going up the stairs once more, you see that it's a quiet late afternoon today. Not really any prayers or chants to be heard, but sitting at the base of the shrine at the old tree, you see the voice of all things, just sat there in quiet meditation. But as you approach, the third eye on its forehead opens up as you approach and says, "Cuckoo ka 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 ka. I could sense you approaching from a mile away, young one."
Indeed, and I think you might know what I wish to do.
Sometimes we may not be able to glimpse into the future, but the past does give us enough clues as to what might be heading our way. Cuckoo ka ka ka.
Would you allow me to inherit the voice of the world?
Such a thing is not lightly to be inherited, young one. I must
Well,
warn
just
you,
peaceful.
Though I know that there is no stopping you from acquiring great powers such as this kukaka. But do know that the voice of the past comes with its share of burdens. You on your own carry your own, but the burdens of others bears a great deal. The voice of all things is not merely to hear, but to know deeply and understand. Are you prepared for such a thing?
Well, I would say, with what I've gone through, I will take any chance of us surviving. The more I know, the more the chance of us coming on top of this war alive. There's many things I wish to do, and there's still more I wish to share with them.
I sense a touch of Fae within you as well. In a way, you already represent a voice of the forest in more ways than one. Though before you venture down this path, I would ask of you, what do you intend to do with the knowledge of the past?
The past is the foundation of the present, and the past can teach us and help us in making a choice for a better future. And I'm willing to bet on this voice of the world to make sure that we reached our destination safely. I don't mind the cost I have to pay. Eventually, everyone have to pay a price.
Is nothing for knowledge. However, the burden of knowledge is heavier than the world. Might I advise you on using this power? Take it in small trickles at a time, lest you flood yourself with the knowledge of what has transpired and lose yourself within the memories. Our brains, especially yours, not cultivated over millennia such as I, can only hold so much after all.
I do know someone who have inherit a lot of memories.
Then I suppose there is no stopping what was already preordained and decided. Carry with you the voice of all things, and careful not to lose yourself to it.
Well, this is only a trial, I would say. Once the new moon rolls, I will lose the ability, and I'll come back again.
Still, a new moon is a long time for the knowledge of several thousand years.
I'll try what I can.
Come sit in front of me, will you?
Darko will go and in front of the old grung and meditate the same way he does.
It takes a while, but a connection is linked between you and this immense, ancient being. And as it does, slowly trickling in, like raindrops after a night of storm, into your mind, slowly you glimpse flashes of things. Things much older than you, much older than even the most oldest people you know, slowly begins to weave and thread their way into your mind. You see the ground, you see trees and animals and nature and ancient beings lost to time. You see beyond that in the skies and the trees of a great continent unbound, where people harmonize and use all of the things that help shape the world into what they want it to be. You glimpse a long past time of elves that weave time and space and magic and nature and possibility and fate into the very beings of their core and carve them into runes. You see humans of a far long distant age wearing primitive attire made of beast cloth and hide, and you see tieflings and elves and gnomes that are created, molded from beings of the great beyond. You see the waves of the river, you see raindrops that slowly turn into rivers, that slowly turn into oceans, and oceans that slowly turn into desert and sand. You see the history of the world like trickling information through your brain, and for a moment it almost becomes too much. I need you to go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh boy.
It does become too much. And you, almost like a broken tap, are not able to stop the flow of information from taking into your mind. Like all of a sudden the rain turns to storm and a torrential weather and a hurricane in deep in your mind as you watch the history of the world. Several thousand years flash by, yet every single second, every single moment is lived in. You feel like years pass, while in a moment it only feels like a second as you stand and you watch the world unfurl, and you watch as a sapling grows into a great tree, and you watch as birds die and fall and rise again, and you watch as great beings travel from this plane and beyond. You watch as humans build buildings that then collapse, then turns into other buildings. You watch as civilizations rise and fall, and there are wars, and there are battles, and there are peace treaties, and there are agreements, and there are alliances formed, and there are monsters and waves and chaos and calamity, and there is calamity, and there is a great wall of light and a great destruction. A man in a helmet helming armies, battles, soldiers, wars, demons, angels, battles, armies, destruction. Everything flashes by before you hear, "Young one, bring yourself back now." And you repeat that wisdom saving throw with advantage this time. These images slowly turn into voice. And you realize that you're taking in this information the wrong way. The voice of all things is to hear, to understand what is being told by the world around you, not to immerse yourself in it. And every time you do so, you risk the chance of losing yourself in the past. If it not for the fact that there is one who wields this power to an expertise guiding you, you would have been lost in this memory, forever repeating the cycle of the world for so many years. But he brings you back. And this time, like slowly trickling water, you begin to digest the information of the world. Not in image and not in immersing yourself this time, but through hearing it. And a number is emblazoned in your mind. A number, you think. Why does a number exist at the beginning of time or at the end of time? You're not quite sure. 10,882. And at the end of time, it reverts back to 0.
10,832.
82. I will not be present the next time you decide to use this ability. So decide carefully on what you look into and what you ask of the world. The world will reply, but it has no sense of who or what should be capable of taking its information.
Understood. With a bated breath, Darko will bow and pay respect to the old drunk. Thank you for giving me a chance.
I did not give you the chance. You gave yourself the chance. You lose the manifestation of Time Tracer, and you now gain the voice of the world, in which I will DM to you at some point in the week before next session.
Yes.
If he doesn't forget.
Yeah, if I don't forget.
Nah, he will not forget.
Ian is never.
You walk back onto the ship, and it's now like every being that you know has a voice. There is a story behind each person. Even the villagers that you walk by, you sense 30, 40, 50 years, 18 years, 9 years, 8 years of life. Everyone has a number, and with each number there is a story within each number to be told, like a mathematical accounting of the world recited in the pages of a book. Each person has a number of pages that they hold within them that you can now see, and you can now choose to reach out and ask. Here's a strange thing. You see that everybody has an amount of pages that you can perceive according to their age. But Len has somewhere between 500 to 800 pages.
Ah,
You all see
Is
now
that your
that
document?
Darko has a third eye on his forehead now.
Ooh, might want to cover that up.
I'm not gonna question what you did, but yes, you probably, might want to cover that up.
well, the Mask of the Masquerade does help with that, and with a quick whirling of, I guess, magic, the mask cover up the eye.
What about Shion?
Same
What
number.
does Darko see?
How
500
old
to
is Shion?
800.
Huh?
How old is Shion?
What, 20, what? 23? 24?
Yeah, you see 23. But there are also a bunch of smaller numbers that's like hovers around her as well.
What did he tell you in there?
What? Pardon?
What did he talk to you about in there?
The numbers?
Well, let's just say I
does he-
decide on
guys
a
don't know.
gamble on the voice of the world. I hope it will help us reach our destination as much as, safe and steady as possible.
Well, that's a good thing, but let's just hope your gamble doesn't turn on the sour side. Anyways,
So,
time to make way.
thank you for offering me a little bit of time.
When something we already pack up the Tim jaw, right?
Yes.
It's a strange choice of words, offering you a bit of time. Essentially, time in its entirety is now on offer for you whenever you choose to. Though be careful with how you use this power, because without a guide, you could very easily become what he became. And you now come to realize that this giant grung, like grown immensely tall, like gargantuan, and rooted into a tree, he's probably been there for much longer than you realize. And just the fact that he talks in all these cryptic messages just also means that he's not all entirely there. Maybe he's lost parts of himself along some journeys that he's had to hear or look into. We move now. Forward. The Wanderer takes off. And 4 days, crossing the fiery plumes of Jerusalem volcano, deep into the heart of the Greenhaven forest. Whatever happens on the forest floor, you hear dinosaurs, insects, the hunt happening. You hear life being heard down below the canopy, but that is none of your concern. You cruise through slowly before light is seen in the midst of day. Not light from candles or torches or artificial electrical light, but light from the sun reflecting off of quartz-like structures of glass. You slowly coast through. Coming into view now, you see a city. Positioned atop a waterfall, a small bridge connecting land to floating mass. And you see that the buildings here are made of a white quartz, reflecting translucent tall spires of glass and a citadel in the center. Welcome, my players, to Dorcanus, the Citadel of Quartz. And that's where we're gonna end tonight's session.
Yay!
PM, along the 40s, can I create items and transmute to fix the Wanderer up?
Sure. Like make 4 tools proficiency checks for me.
Do you want the Smith tools or the Tinker's tools?
Smith.
So, can you finish up that crossbow so I can have it?
Yeah.
That's a shit roll.
One crossbow you have.
That's an okay roll too. That's an okay roll.
Roll 2d10 and 1d12.
2d10.
Well, I'm gonna sign off. It's like past midnight.
Bye bye.
Thank you everybody for joining us today.
Bye.
Let's see what happens
Bye.
next session as we delve into Dorcanus.
Tomorrow?
No.
I see you next week. It is.
Shit.
Next week, yeah.